All right, continuing on with the respond portion of the product, we are now going to dive into reports. I'm skipping over campaigns right now because if we remember when we were in the investigate portion of the product under identities, we discussed access reviews and risks and these other things. They all tied nicely into campaigns, so we discussed it then. So if you want to learn more about campaigns, feel free to go and watch the access reviews under the identities portion of the product for that. So going into reports, this is going to be a little bit brief, but it's pretty simple. It's saying basically we have weekly and monthly reports inside of here. So if I wanted to go click on a monthly report, I could simply just go open it up and we'll get a preview over here, download this, go ahead and grab this report, let's save it, and then you can open it up. So essentially what you're going to get is monthly and weekly summaries of basically what trends and activities we're seeing inside of the environment. So basically some calls to action inside of here, recommended next steps, identity, risk scores, threat findings, and some kind of emerging trends that we're starting to see inside of the environment. So for example, maybe we're seeing a lot of account takeover potential activity against like Okta or something like that. Those type of things will be called out inside of here, just kind of as an FYI. So really that's kind of what you can expect from reports. There is a lot of effort going into reports, making this a bit more customizable. So stay tuned for this video to be updated when those new features come out. So kind of moving on from reports is now we have our automation. So the automation area and our automation rules is really where you want to start sending out different actions based off of a set of requirements that might come in. Just for example, we can go open up, let's just go find like a Jira one here, for example. This one happens to be disabled. We'll go ahead and take a look here. So when you come in and create a brand new automation rule, you're going to be provided essentially a template if you wanted to use one. So we have several templates inside of here that you can automatically leverage based off of what you wanted to do. So a Slack message, hit a REST endpoint, Jira, Incident IO, Chronicle, do things in times, kind of whatever inside of here. And then this is where you can customize it. So in this scenario, saying if we ever see a finding is created or updated, the priority is a P0, P1, or a few other values. So basically all the values. So any finding that is created inside of here, the recommendation is needs investigation. Finding kind is a threat, and the source comes from Exaforce. Go hit our managed services team, Jira, and go create a ticket inside of here. And I don't have permissions to go inside of here, so that's why I'm getting this unauthorized. But essentially, and then all of your integrations are built inside of here. I want to go have several different Slack integrations. I want this team to get notified, or this team, this email, this ticketing system, whatever it might be. This is where you can kind of build all of those statements inside of here. There's a bunch of these that are generated out of the box and ready to go for you. Or you can simply just come up here and create your own, drag down the template, and then you can start to customize as needed inside of here. So that's kind of where in these scenarios where we see these threat detections, anytime I see a P0, P1, I want this team to get notified. I want this thing to go happen. And this is where you would go build those out. So these are a little bit more, I would say, on the less action side, where it's like, a lot of notification type of stuff being done in here, maybe, reaching out to REST endpoints, things of that nature, where you might want to take more direct action with another tool, a third-party vendor. For example, and maybe I want to reach out to CrowdStrike, quarantine a host, do those type of actions. That's where we're going to leverage our automation agents. So inside of here, we can go open up one of these really quick, and I can see we have this user confirmation. So this one's, I would say, fairly generic, out-of-box type of workflow that here isn't available. If I wanted to go edit the description and things like that, I could do that, or we can just kind of go open up this entire chain here and go take a look at this workflow. So this is an automated workflow that we can see inside of here, and I can come over in here and hit the configuration button. So just like you were seeing in the automation rules, where I can see if a finding is created or it's updated, the priority is a P0 or a high in this scenario. Recommendations needs an investigation, and the threat finding is a threat. I want you to go automatically trigger and go do these things. So if there is a root identity that exists, let's go grab that value. We can go grab identity now. So go into the identity portion of our product, grab that ID inside of there, go grab all of this information that we would want to know from an identity perspective. If they have any human identities, let's go grab those. And then basically we want to kind of go, do some additional type of flattening of the data inside of here. You can do some user confirmation stuff as well. So basically all of those parameters are provided inside of here. And then now it's going to say we want to go message that user. So now that we have those values, we have that username from our identity related information. Now I can go plug that into Teams, go message that user, say basically, hello, I'm whatever value that was grabbed from earlier. Some of those placeholder, your friendly Exabot security agent. We went and saw you do XYZ. This is going to come from the threat finding or risk finding itself inside of here. And then give you all this analysis. And then basically you have the option to wait for a response and whatever kind of value that you want to put inside of here, retry attempts. And in this particular workflow, it's saying if the user marks this activity as legit or it times out, automatically go message their manager. So basically from all the config information that we've retrieved, we can start to get that hierarchy inside of there and take a look at, hey, who reports to who, and now go grab their manager information and go do the exact same thing. So basically, this is your friendly Exabot agent. We saw a user do XYZ. We just want some confirmation from you to say, hey, they told us that what they were doing was legit. However, an account compromise type of scenario, we don't necessarily want to take the user's word for it. We want to go get further validation from their manager. So in this scenario, it's saying, hey, if they said it's not legit, let's just go update the finding. Let's go bubble up the risk. Let's go, update the ticket inside of here. But if they're saying it is legit or it times out, we want to reach out to their manager, get their manager's feedback, and then go update our analysis inside of here. So that's kind of one of the out of the box ones. This happens basically automatically inside of here based off of what triggers you want this to happen on. This particular one's going to happen on essentially everything that has user related identity. That's a threat finding. However, if we close this out, we can go create our own as well. And it's pretty easy to do. So I'm going to be really creative here and I'm going to create one called test. And as we go open this up, you're going to get your editor. So the first thing that you're going to be greeted with is inside of here is, what is your trigger? So is this something on a schedule? Is this an automated thing like we saw in the last one? Basically, there's a threat finding created. Or is this something that I want to manually be able to go trigger this workflow based off of some feedback that I received? So to start off, I'm just going to go create a manual trigger inside of here. And we can kind of move this around. And then you can see as you go open this up, there is you can plug in some additional parameters if you wanted to inside of here, but like the automation ones is where you could go hit configure and say if P0, P1, threat finding created, those type of activities. This one, I'm just saying this is a manual one. So now off of this, I want to go take additional actions. So we have some new feedback here. So we have AI agents. I want to define a complex task, reassess things, and provide based off of user feedback. So we can go open this one up. And now I'm going to go drop this on here. And now we have a user prompt. So this is where you can just type in human language, what you want to have happen. So maybe in a scenario would be, anytime we see authentication coming into the environment from countries that are maybe not on a particular allow list or deny list, kind of whatever scenario that might look like for you, is that you could just type in human language as, okay, go do the activity, and I automatically want you to go flag their enterprise user account with a high risk user inside of the environment. So there's the type of things where it's like, hey, I don't maybe necessarily know where to go do that. I don't know how to kind of create that automation where I could just type in human language and it will go do those things for you inside of here. So a cool way that you can kind of create anything inside of here. Or you could just say, hey, summarize all of those users. And then now off of that, I want you to go create me a PDF and go email it to me. So those type of things you could do inside of here. So that's the AI agents. Then we have the core where it's like, I want you to go get details from a threat finding, a group, an identity, external actions. This is a pretty common one. Let's go ahead and delete this one right here. Let's go take a look at external actions. So now it's like, hey, maybe I have an Okta, I have Google SecOps, Incident IO Tines, kind of whatever. So some of the more common ones would be like Entra ID, for example. And now it's saying, okay, based off of whatever you said in the conditions, I want you to go do XYZ now. So reset MFA, disable the user, reset password. You could have some optional parameters inside of here like client IDs. It's like, hey, maybe we have multiple apps, multiple environments. We want to make sure this one only goes to a particular one. You can do all those type of things inside of here. So This is a bit of a playground where you can start customizing some additional workflows based off of the tooling that you have and use cases that you have to just kind of go do some additional things. Actually, here's that one where I was talking about document processing. I want you to go create me a PDF, HTML, whatever markdown, and then go email these things out. So a pretty cool spot where you can start to customize those actions that you want to have done based off of any type of condition that you might run into inside of the environment. So really, really, really cool stuff here. So a lot of expansion and engineering time going into this to make this even more vast than it is already. So that wraps up the Exabot Respond portion of the product, and stay tuned and we'll discuss the platform settings. Thank you.